Hi friends, in this video we're going to do a reaction video to Against the Wind by Bob Seger. It was a really big hit when it hit the charts, and it still is a popular song with really interesting writing. So when we look at song reactions in this channel, you know, I'm a writer, I'm a songwriter. We look at it as almost like peers and colleagues really diving deep into the writing, and usually it results in poetry analysis when we look at songs. But in this particular song, it's not really poetry as much as it is amazing storytelling. And so we're going to look at the storytelling here, and I'm going to play a devil's advocate because this song has such good storytelling at certain moments that I actually wanted the story to go a different way. Like, I'm going to play a devil's advocate in the middle of this video, so stay tuned. First, let's look at the song and how it opens. It seems like yesterday. This is a classic tool in storytelling. You know, today I'm looking back at how things were, kind of this juxtaposition of where am I in life, kind of a little bit melancholy setting. This song is very like tear-jerky, melancholy, perhaps a little much. We'll get into that in a second. And then Janie, that was a real person he dated. Janie was lovely, great word here in this moment. She was the queen of my nights. That's beautiful. This is poetry right here. She was the queen of my nights. You immediately see it, right? You see this young people's romance, boom, in only kind of a 3.5 lines. The third line is a little long. So fast, you have the whole picture. This is really great writing. And this actually is poetry. The reason I say it's mostly storytelling is because, well, we'll see later in the song. There in the darkness with the radio playing low and the secrets that we shared, okay, it's just more painting this picture of the setting. And then the lyrics go on, and the secrets that we shared and the mountains that we moved, caught like a wildfire out of control, till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. I love till there was nothing left to burn and nothing left to prove. I don't love and the secrets we shared and the mountains we moved. It's a little bit cheesy writing, just a little bit predictable, not original. But that's just like a small part of it. The rest of it is great. And then this goes into another really great line here. And I remember what she said to me, how she swore that it never would end. I remember how she held me oh so tight. And then that's the line right here. I wish I didn't know now, when he's older, what I didn't know then. It's funny phrased, but it's actually simple enough to understand. He didn't know then that they were going to break up when they held each other, and he didn't know then that he was going to have, obviously, regret, right? Because he lost this woman, and later in the song we find out that things didn't go as planned in his life, although we'll get into that. I'm not sure I feel sorry for him, you know, he's a big star. So here it's interesting. This line is really interestingly phrased. Now, if this was original, I would be like, whoa. I don't think it's an original idea because I see this in storytelling all the time. I'm actually writing a song right now that has a lyric like, I wish I didn't know it then, but life was as good as it was going to get. This is just such a classic storytelling moment where you kind of give a glimpse to the past of how naive and how good it was, and of the peak of the past, but you're referencing it from the present, which is a lot later. And this is just, it's a common technique in storytelling and writing. So I don't think this is original here. If it was, I would be like, whoa, this is the best line. But really, it's not it's perhaps an original line, but not an original style of writing, technique of writing. But here, this is just the first verse. And this song is very front heavy. The best part of the song is this verse. The storytelling is wildly good. You got this amazing romance, and it's described in this poetic way, and it leaves me needing, as a listener, not wanting, almost like needing to know what's going to happen with this Janie, what's going to happen, are they going to come back, are they going to reunite? This is why this is storytelling, because yes, there's poetry, but I want to know what happens in the story purely as a listener. This caught my attention so well because, oh my God, amazing love story. It seems to have broken up. What happened? What happened, Bob Seger? Tell me. In the rest of the song, he doesn't reference this woman anymore. Wow, how could you do that to us? Here is where I'm going to play devil's advocate to Bob Seger. Of course, I'm wrong, okay, because this is a big hit and he's a big artist and I'm, not. So we'll take it all with a grain of salt, but let's think of it critically. Later in the song, Bob Seger goes on about his life and how, he was a big rock star, but he still isn't happy, which, boo-hoo, you're a big rock star, you're complaining, you have a cooler life than most people. And I understand money doesn't make you happy and all that, but at the same time, still probably he has a better life than most people. It's like complaining, oh, I was so rich and famous and I messed it up and things just didn't go even better than they could have, right? Where everybody else is like, yeah, why don't you just get a 9-to-5 job and then complain? Or even worse, right? So I don't think that I buy this perspective, because that's what he does later in the song. He's like, I've been touring for so long and blah, 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 and I lost myself. Yeah, I feel so bad for you. You're a famous musician. And it's kind of like a song which has a bad mindset, where it's like, this is a recipe for how to make your life bad, actually, in this song. Because later in the song, let's go over it so that you see. He goes on to talk about how he's running against the wind and they were strong. Okay, fine. Then the years rolled slowly past and I found myself alone, surrounded by strangers who I thought were my friends. I found myself further and further from my home. I lost my way. Okay, this is a person who is indulging in feeling bad for themselves. Okay, the number one recipe for feeling bad for yourself is to feel bad for yourself and love this, oh my God, poor me. And he, tells himself this story. Oh yeah, things didn't go well for me. I got so unlucky. And then in the past it was so great. And now I regret and I live in my regret. And that's my current state of mind. This is a horrible state of mind. If you want mental health, for yourself, sure, you can indulge in a song that makes you nostalgic. But this line of thinking, which this right here is a little bit like free thought. You get a glimpse of what's in his mind. In a song, this is fine, but in real life, you gotta snap yourself out of it. So I would say this would have been okay, if you see we have traditional storytelling arc. Like, you get the girl, you lose the girl, you go through trials and tribulations, and then what do? You get the girl, or you lose the girl, or you try to get the girl and you almost get her and you don't get her, something. But she has to come back in this story. Now, in this story, this verse just kind of is more about feeling bad for yourself, and he's getting older, and he's getting older, and life is hitting him in a more real way, like it would hit everybody essentially. And then there's another third verse, which is like a single verse. It's short. Then he's like, those drifters days are past me now. Got so much more to think about than deadlines and commitments. And then he blah, 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 what to leave and what to leave out. Okay, so he's in a different stage in life. And then he's like, against the wind, I'm still running. I'm older now, but it's still running against the wind. So there's a little bit of hope, a little bit of optimism. What's missing? What's missing is he opened with this amazing story, and then there was no more anything good. Okay, there were glimpses of interesting lines. Like, there's a line that's interesting here: moving 8 miles a minute for months at a time. Obviously touring on a plane. So lines like that have a little creativity in them, but the bulk of this song starts and ends. The quality starts and ends on this big verse one or double verse in the beginning, whatever you like to call it. This was just amazing. And the rest of the song, I'm like listening, waiting, what happens to this woman? He doesn't come back. My devil's advocate argument is that the song would be so much better if he bookended it with what happened to Janie. I want to know. Millions of people want to know. Bob Seger. In the storytelling, this is like, in my mind, unequivocally what had to happen. Maybe in one line, give a reference to the girl, right? Something. But the reason the listener is hanging on is to hear more about what happens to the girl. So this is my, if I was to write this, I was to actually say what happened. Now, I don't need a Hollywood ending. You don't have to say, they got back together when they were older and, they found that they still love each other the same way and it was great. You don't need that. But I need something. I need closure. So I guess the fascinating thing for us to do is in the comments, please comment, what would be a good ending? How would he keep the song's integrity as it is? Which I guess means complaining about his life. But how would he tie the girl back? Because as a listener, I can kind of, I understand what he's going through. I think all of us understand what he's going through. This is life stuff. It will be fine as a separate song, like Boo-Hoo, My Life Is So Bad. But in this song, we need to know what happens to the girl. So in the comments, how would you work the girl back in? This is creative because it's a creative question for me to you because he doesn't give a hint. And so we can just have a blank canvas. Everybody's answer is wrong and right at the same time, but there's no wrong. It's creative. It's interesting for us to brainstorm. And I'll give you my idea. First, what are some bad ideas? First bad idea, they get back together after many years. Second bad idea, uninteresting. Oh, like he calls her and then he finds her, but she's married with kids and okay, he can't have her. Okay, boring also. Not so great. It's okay, but it's not so great. Another bad idea is they're both married and so they meet each other, but And so you see all these mundane things just wouldn't really work in this song. You need something, we need something. The listeners, all of us, we need something special. Something out of this worldly. And I guess when I think about this song, I don't need it to be like a redemption song. Not necessarily. I don't need him to be happy now. Like something happens and things are nice now. I don't need that. And I think it's very hard to make that non-cheesy. Like, oh, I recovered and I'm fine and stuff. Don't think you need that. But I also, there's a little bit of like, in the storytelling, really, the quality of the storytelling, I feel really drops off because I'll show you, you see here in the end, when he finishes the song and he says, I'm still running against the wind, we don't know why. He doesn't tell us what happened in his mind perspective. Like this is just random out of nowhere. Like, okay, so right here before that, you were, kind of like, you grew up, you're adulting, you have deadlines and commitments. And right before that, it says, I found myself seeking shelter against the wind. So what changed? Absolutely not complete storytelling, too ambiguous. Like if I was writing it and I was getting feedback from other people, like, during when you get feedback for your drafts, people would say, this is bad storytelling, what happened? Of course, that's what you tell people who aren't established, and people who are established get away with this kind of stuff. But I think here there's room to add, okay, just one line right there. Why is he still running against the wind? And what I would do is maybe he would kind of see maybe a mirage, maybe a hope of maybe not the old Janie, because you can't get that, whatever young girl back because they grew up and they had different lives and who knows what happened to her, she moved on. But of course, everybody knows that one of the ways to stop feeling sorry for yourself and to get out of the regret mode is to just find something new to look forward to. It's kind of like a mind hack that's so simple. So We need almost a vision of a new girl, like a Janie #2, or somebody that will be almost as magical. And he would be like, I don't really know how to get this girl, or I don't really know how to find such a girl, but I know I'm gonna look. And maybe there can be just a little more around that, and then he's running against the wind again. And I feel like, because that's the energy you need. You need the hope. You need hope. And I think maybe that will be an interesting twist in the storytelling, and will make all the other complaining okay. So that's how I'd rewrite it. Of course I'm wrong, so if you're gonna write in the comments, hey, you're wrong, write something more insightful. Write how you'd redo the story. And of course, thank you for listening. And by the way, I despite all of some negative things I said, I love this song. This song is really cool, and the storytelling in the first verse is just out of this world amazing. I love how in such a short time he packs such a punch, and the story just blossoms and opens up. Now, if you like music with interesting writing, this is actually what I aspire to do as well, what I try to do in my music. So I'll have the links to my music, my original songs, in the description of the video. And actually, funny enough, have a song that I'll also link up that ends in a similar way. Like, I don't say I'm running against the wind, obviously, and I didn't have the song in mind when I wrote it, but I'm like, into gale winds once more. But it's a little bit more like rock song. Most of my songs are a little bit mellow, like this kind of a song, but that other song is a little bit more rock attitude. So I'll link that up because it has some interesting parallel themes. But in any case, I'll have the links to the playlist to all my music, so you can check it out. And of course, I'd appreciate if you do, because I just work so hard on it. And anybody who listens to my music, I appreciate you for that, just as the writer appreciates their readers and listeners. I think that's the kind of relationship of appreciation that there should be. Anyhow, check it out. I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. I tried to make it interesting and insightful and unique, adding a perspective maybe that we don't hear often. And I'll see you in the next video.